What's up guys, Jared again. Perhaps no word describes the humor of Rick and Morty more precisely than cynical.
What people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed.
The show has a reputation for taking the piss out of anything one might consider sacred, whether it's religion, existence, individuality, or family. In particular, the idea of marital love has been taken down a few pegs, primarily through Beth and Jerry's dysfunctional marriage. But with them reuniting at the end of Season 3, can we expect a shift in the way the show depicts love? Episode 2 of Season 4 was released last weekend, and although it's full of the same Rick and Morty snark we've come to eagerly expect...
Dad, I want to say something. I started today disgusted and embarrassed to be your son, and then later I thought we were going to die because you're a loser.
There's no more, is
Nope.
there?
Now quit f***ing up and let's go.
It also frames love in a way that makes the show seem a lot more wholesome and positive than it possibly ever has. So let's find out if nihilism is getting old in this quick take on Rick and Morty Season 4 Episode 2, The Old Man in the Seat. And of course, spoilers ahead. Okay, let's dive into a quick recap. Rick is on the hunt for the man who used his secret pastoral toilet, while his Monogatron intern Gluty convinces Jerry to help him develop an app called Love Finders, which precisely connects people with soulmate after soulmate after soulmate. Beth tries to stop Summer from engaging in app-fueled serial monogamy, while Jerry and Morty travel to the Monogatron mothership to try and shut the app down. The toilet trespasser turns out to be a widower named Tony, who sees a kindred spirit in Rick, as they both need to shy away from the world during poop time. Tony tries to strike up a friendship, but Rick isn't down. Meanwhile, Beth finally corners Summer and tries to convince her to stop her dating Bender. Luckily, Jerry has convinced Gluty to sabotage the app by setting up an ad wall, forcing Summer to delete it. After learning that Tony has died, Rick returns to his toilet and solemnly reflects on his loneliness. The end. For the purposes of this discussion on love, we're going to be focusing on the B-plot, Summer's addiction to the dating app and Beth's mission to stop her. The Monogatrons are able to so thoroughly distract humans because when faced with an abundance of partners, they'll obsessively blow through relationship after relationship.
It's a pre-app civilization. Your love's value is defined by scarcity. You are highly trained to seek it, and you have no idea how to maintain it. Had you bothered to master love, you would have learned by now it is as abundant as water. You know what isn't? Water. That runs out.
Because humanity views love as a finite resource and our number of potential partners as limited, Earth is easily disrupted when the Monogatrons introduce an app that connects each person to a soulmate with terrifying efficiency. People don't just pair up, they leap from partner to partner like alien frogs on a lily pad. Summer goes from Danny to Jeff, to this devastatingly unhygienic girl, to this dude in no time.
Stupid phones are destroying us.
It's a pretty clear condemnation of modern dating apps like Tinder, OkCupid, Bumble, JSwipe, etc., which inundate users with so many choices that there's little incentive to invest in any one relationship. By constantly offering another newer, shinier mate, these apps often either encourage promiscuity or turn people into serial 3-hour monogamists. Compare the modern-day Tinder hunt for love with the way earlier generations found romantic partners. Back in agrarian times, you pretty much had the choice of people within your small town, so if Annie or Timmy from the farm next door wasn't your type, you kinda just had to deal. Love literally was a scarce resource in a pre-industrial and pre-internet world. Your pool of options was just smaller, but people still found lifelong companionship. Today, you could reject the population of a small agrarian community in the span of 60 seconds. So if a pre-app society's vision of love is defined by scarcity, we clearly see that introducing an infinite number of options is not the answer. But how can an abundance of choice negatively affect one's ability to find love? We all want to find the best partner, right? To answer that, we're looking to French philosopher Alain Badiou, and specifically his book, In Praise of Love. Badiou claims that online dating leads to a risk-free version of love that erases the possibility of encountering difference. Basically, when you have the ability to algorithmically pick a potential mate by their political preferences, favorite movies, height, hair color, socioeconomic background, etc., you filter out the possibility of organically encountering something you don't know you want. It doesn't leave room for that potential meet cute. We see this with the hyper-efficiency of Love Finders. The app scans your face and immediately pairs you with a partner that fits your every desire. But, as we see, this love doesn't last. people don't just have one compatible partner, and desire, like most things, changes and people move on to chase the next desire. So, if not personal fulfillment, what is love? For Baeur, love is more than anything else a dedication to an idea. As he says, love is above all a construction that lasts. Real love is one that triumphs lastingly, sometimes painfully, over the hurdles erected by time, space, and the world. Sure, Cinderella can get swept off her feet by her romantic encounter with Prince Charming, but what happens next? We assume that they live happily ever after, but in real life, such ephemeral moments rarely last.
Now what?
Happily ever after.
And after that?
For Baeur, love is about tenacity. It's about making the encounter endure. Consider the encounter that started Beth and Jerry's relationship. Beth accidentally getting pregnant in high school.
All this time you've been thinking, what if that loser Jerry hadn't talked me out of the abortion? Well, now you know.
In Baeuian terms, this would be the event. And yes, this event probably could have been prevented by proper sex health education, rendering it nowhere near as romantic as your average Disney fare, but that's of little consequence to love. What matters is continued fidelity to that event, no matter how banal it may be, to continue to say yes in developing the connection, to perpetuate the relationship in the face of pain and hardship. That's where true love is forged. For Beth, this means ignoring the fact that Jerry can't hold down a job, or that he's a total coward, or that he's pretty much the most superfluous man in the universe, and continue to work through it, to affirm the thing that brought them together and build off the initial event. Per Baeur, an apparently insignificant act, but one that is a really radical event in life at a micro level, bears universal meaning in the way it persists and endures. This is the perspective Beth is coming from when trying to get Summer off the app. All of Summer's encounters evoke your stereotypical fairy tale connection.
You had me at my own name.
You had me at hello.
But in the end, Beth asserts the supremacy of Baeuian love over the Monogatron version when she checks Love Finders to see that it's paired her with Boomer Dreamboat Ted Danson. However, instead of pursuing him in all his silver foxiness, she deletes the app and deepens her embrace of Jerry. Love isn't about picking the most viable candidate out of a dating pool of millions. It's about making the choice to endure. To quote Baeur again, strictly speaking, love isn't a possibility, but rather the overcoming of something that might appear to be impossible. Over the last 3 seasons, we've seen Beth and Jerry struggle through a marriage that at many times has seemed impossible.
You both hate yourselves and each other!
And yet, somehow, they've overcome their challenges and stayed together. And after their separation during season 3, Beth now knows, more than ever, that real love is born out of tenacity. At the episode's close, the supposed superior intimacy of the Monogatrons is proven false. Earlier, the leader and his partner seemed like true soulmates, even enjoying the same podcast.
I found a new podcast we can listen to tonight.
Love it.
But, as it turns out, that's not quite enough.
These
on your
two
back.
are cool, and I want a divorce.
You can have one for a glass of goddamn water!
But what do you guys think? Is love a matter of finding the hottest needle in the haystack? Is it about passion and mutual self-fulfillment? Or is it about dedication and hard work in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges? And is this any indication that the show may be getting more hopeful?